As we jump into raster data, I wanted to go ahead and take an easy example. And so we're looking at the Environmental Protection Agency's ecoregion map of the Midwest, right? And so really the upper Midwest here in particular. And one of the things, if I go ahead and zoom in on this map, you can actually see, right, that there are distinct boundaries that are drawn into this map. But realistically, these maps predate GIS, right? And so the EPA ecoregions map is something that is based on field observations and lots of information. And these maps have been drawn and redrawn a number of times. There's not been a specific, you know, there's not a kind of a specific soil type or watershed boundary that really guides this. So this really is kind of human interpretation of what the landscape looks like for plants and wildlife of these distinct regions. But I wanted to go ahead and connect this in here because this kind of drawn map, right, which this is absolutely a drawn map, can be brought into the ArcGIS environment. And so I wanted to show you an example of how that comes together. And so what I mean by that, if I go ahead and jump in here, you'll actually see that I've just got a blank, I've got my skill development for. I created a new project folder for it, or a new project for it, and we're kind of jumping in here. If we go into add data, one of the things I do want to show you real quick is that oftentimes kind of the add data comes in like this. Make sure you always kind of pull it out, because the important thing is you can see here for ArcGIS Online who the owner is of the different data sets. And one of the ones that you should probably, if you're working in Indiana, you're going to go back to again and again and again, is this one called Indiana Map. And what I'm going to go ahead and do real quick is that if you want to go explore all the different data layers the Indiana Map has, you can go to their website, or you can just do what I did there, which is click on the owner's name. And it'll actually come in here where it allows me to go ahead and open up and view these different layers through an ArcGIS Online web viewer. Now, if I decided that I really liked one of these layers, then I can come back in and click on this. I can actually come over and tell it I want the ArcGIS Pro version of this, and it will actually download, and then you can go ahead and drop it into ArcPro that way. There's an easier way to do this, which is as soon as we type in Indiana Map, what should come up here in the search, and again, the ArcGIS Online search, they call it a curated data inventory. I would say that that's a pretty loose term. This is a pretty big mess, but if you do scroll down here, there is a few things to look for. One of those being that there is a collection, a data collection, and I say collection because you kind of see it has this unique symbol next to it. I'm actually looking for the Indiana Map one. You can go ahead and jump in here, and I can go ahead and jump into environment. And again, I was looking for ecoregions, right? And so you can see all the different information that's available here underneath this, but I'm specifically looking to see if I can drag in an ecoregion. They're right there. Really quickly then, that drawn map is now represented here. Now, these have been digitized and turned into vector files, but they began their life as a raster image, as a drawn image, right? This isn't a direct application, where somebody went in and traced a road on top of an aerial photograph and it went, basically originally input as vector data. This began its life as a drawn image. I'm not sure that's as important as I'm making it out to be, but one of the things that does jump up in this for me is that I wanted to go ahead and connect you to how do you dig into data behind images, which is what raster data sets are all about. One of the ways that we can do this is that we can actually go in and look at it, and if we go to EPA ecoregion level 4, what you're going to find is that this area right up here along the lake is called the Michigan Lake Plain, and it's ecoregion 56D. If I go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and copy all of that and then post it into Google, what's going to go ahead and pop up here is that additional information will start to become available for us to start to look at and explore what does it mean to be in that ecoregion. So what is the landscape type? What are some of the major characteristics, the dominant plant and animal species? All of this information is here and basically linked back to this data set. One of the things I find really fascinating is actually a new website that I just found recently. It's called iNaturalist. It's actually related to a phone app. And one of the things we can do for iNaturalist is that you can actually go in and find for the Michigan Lake Plain. You can go ahead and hit explore and just type in Michigan Lake Plain, and it'll bring up this list, and it's a list of all the plants that have been identified by people on the ground. You can also go in and look at the reptiles. You can look at birds. All of these different things are kind of brought together with this. But one of the things that makes this website really fascinating is that it began in New Zealand. It's since become a global phenomena. Is one of the things you can do is you can actually come in and click explore, right? And if I just want to type in, say, Michigan City, Indiana, again trying to stay in that same environment there, you can actually see that it will pull up that specific data. But I also should be able to go to a download or a map feature. Oops, there it is, map feature. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to show you what has been observed in each one of these different locations. You can go up here to the filter menu and you can click download, and you can actually download that information and bring it directly back into ArcGIS. So again, I'm not going to beat this up too much, but what we're really trying to do with ArcGIS is trying to connect our data, to get the best available data that we can. In this particular example, ecoregions came first. It's hand-drawn maps trying to use our best understanding of the landscape to divide it up into dominant dominant communities of plants and animals. That's what we were attempting to do, or the original cartographers were attempting to do with this information. Now we can go ahead and add this information in here as an ecoregion layer. We can go ahead and bring that together and go in, and again, for each one of these, be able to go ahead and figure out what that is at the ecoregion level 4. Go ahead and select that landscape name and the ecoregion level code, go out and search for it, drop into iNaturalist, download the species, bring that information back in here into ArcGIS, and again, have a much better understanding. Now, iNaturalist isn't perfect. It's based on citizen science, which means that there are people that go out and it's like geocaching, but you go out and you find unique plants, you find unique animals, so fish, wild, birds, other wildlife, and reptiles as well, right? And so there's thousands and thousands of data points that are being generated. That's better than anything that we've ever had on the wildlife, really, and especially on the botany end of things. It's a very, very interesting way of crowdsourcing this information and allowing you to bring a high level of detail of actual observations back into your landscape analysis.